Well, a culture of silence and stonewalling is blamed for the failure to stop Larry Nassar's heinous abuse of children.
But do state lawmakers bear any blame for writing some of the softest laws in the country when it comes to protecting children?
Well, here's 7 investigator Ross Jones with more.
When it comes to children, people like teachers are required to report even suspected abuse. But what happens when they don't? And are Michigan's laws strong enough?
How many little girls could have been spared from this lifelong battle if someone at the university had just done the bare minimum and listened? When girls came forward and told an adult, the adults didn't listen.
Over more than 2 decades, at least 14 representatives of MSU are said to have been told about Nassar's repeated sexual assaults. But under Michigan's mandatory reporter law, certain professionals like teachers, doctors, and therapists are required to notify Child Protective Services over even suspected abuse. Bill Cycli has represented scores of children and teens who were victims of sexual abuse.
We're not serious about it. We don't mean it when we say we're out to protect them.
While states like Florida, Maryland, and Massachusetts have made failing to report abuse a felony that can put you in prison for years, Michigan offers among the lightest punishments in the country, a maximum penalty of just 93 days in jail. Attorney Mick Graywall represents more than 80 of Larry Nassar's victims.
You can't have a penalty, a 93-day penalty to begin with, to deter somebody.
And while the law lists more than 20 professionals as mandated reporters, positions like coaches and trainers are never mentioned. That means the Michigan State coaches and trainers alleged to have been told about Nassar's abuses may not, under Michigan law, have had to report them.
This law needs to be changed. It needs to be clarified.
Even with one of the nation's lightest penalties, just how often is anyone being charged? Barely ever. Over almost the last 30 years, state records reveal 69 charges statewide, fewer than 3 a year. Only 17 of those cases have led to convictions.
Do you think there are only 17 cases in the last 30 years of failing to report?
Ross, I've handled more than that from a civil point of view.
If the state will ever address the shortcomings with the mandatory reporting law, now, say victim advocates, is the time.
Here we're talking about children. You would think that those are the people we most want to protect.
In Lansing, a bill was just introduced that would add coaches and trainers to the list of mandatory reporters, but it would not add tougher penalties to those who failed to report. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
Gotta hope it'll never happen again, for sure.